Welcome to Chapter 2 of Democratizing Our Classroom. The first one is in the same series, either visible on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel in the same video playlist. And you can link to it from this. If you're on Facebook, go to my YouTube page and link to it, or if you're on YouTube, just find the playlist called Democratizing Our Classrooms. This is the second chapter I'm calling the Humanized Classroom. I mentioned in the first video how a key perspective change for many teachers in viewing their students is that all of them are meant to be there and all of them are fully human and need to be treated as such. This is tough. We don't always have students in our classrooms that align with our values, preferences, dreams, we'll even say. So it's a bit of a challenge sometimes for us as adult people who think that we have the authority to direct these young people when they are so different from us sometimes. And that difference can lead to some classroom struggles. So the humanized classroom is an approach where as teachers we challenge ourselves and then we also delegate the challenge back to our students to view each other as full humans. And humans require certain things. I'm sure you're aware that we have a series of needs. And if our needs aren't being met, we get irritable, frustrated, vengeful, bad things happen, okay? Well, it's been shown through history. Just read like a, history book, watch Life, see a TV show, I don't know. Maybe you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I studied sociology a lot in my life, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a way of organizing the different needs we have onto different levels, like a pyramid. And at the top is what's called self-actualization. So like when we are full selves doing all we're meant to do. But below all that, before we can get to that, there are other needs that are required to be met so that we can get to those higher levels of our needs. So first and foremost, we have our physical needs, and that's, you can fill in the blanks. We have then secondary needs, which are linked to our feelings of acceptance within a social world. And then we have our third set, which is our self-acceptance. And that's put at the way top because dealing with our own self is sometimes even more difficult than dealing with others. Anyway, and dealing with ourselves also requires us to be fully present, and being engaged with ourselves and with our world can be really stressful at times. So keeping all these needs in mind really shifts how a teacher should arrange a classroom, how a teacher should structure a classroom, how a teacher should present lessons and content to students, and how a teacher should include students. This should shift everything. If you really were to meditate upon the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or really start to think about how do I do class differently to honor these humans in my room as fully human, not fully developed yet, but fully human still, then it shifts our way of doing things. And if it hasn't done that for you, then I'd say maybe take a second, third, or fourth look at it. And when we're teaching humans, there are certain sets of things that help ideas stick. So first of all, making sure all someone's needs are met helps cut out distractions, which would limit students' engagement in what you're wanting to teach them. Once those needs are met, we then need to work on what will cause the students to pay me or this lesson, because it's not about the teacher, it's about the learning. What will cause the students to pay attention and if you think about your own life, because yes, you are human too, and you probably went through high school or other schooling at that. The things that stick with you are experiences. So the job of a teacher, the facilitator of learning, right, is to create experiences for students to engage with new ideas and kind of wrestle with them until they get them. So creating environments where this is allowed or where students feel comfortable doing this is the challenge. So incorporating Maslow's hierarchy of needs is essential, but also thinking about how can I go beyond just those needs to really make an experience for my students. Okay? So what helps with this? Keeping certain skills in mind that humans are always developing means no matter what you're teaching, your class will remain a humanized class. And I mentioned in my previous video a person named Nate Mullen who is in charge of an organization called Detroit Future Schools, which has changed its name somewhat to People in Education, but we still go by DFS just because it's the thing we know. They put out a guide to humanizing schooling. And in it is this brilliant poster that you can get as a poster and print out and put on your classroom wall if you'd like, called the 11 Essential Skills. And these are things that we need to tap into as teachers to really, engage our students fully as human beings. Let me see how to make this work. Something like that. So if we go down the list, we have at the top optimism and hope. We have grit, we have observation, we have curiosity, innovation, foresight, purposefulness, metacognition, empathy, solidarity, collaboration, and critical consciousness. In no way would you be required or need to feel like yourself is required to always engage each and every one of those skills, because it might not be possible in the time you're preparing for yourself. But also, that could be overwhelming if all of those skills were needing to be used at once. It'd be like an obstacle course in the wilderness, probably, if that was occurring. But throughout our lives as humans, though, we need to practice those skills. And you can go back and look at it. It's all available online, I'm sure, in PDF format to read more closely what each means. But as we go out through life as young humans growing up to older humans, those skills need to be developed, or our true life purpose and meaning won't be accessible to ourselves. And teachers are who we pay in society to help our younger humans become older humans that are hopefully skilled and able to be part of society and competent and successful and blah, 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 blah. Fill in the blanks with all your ideals about teachers here. So those skills are essential. Hence, they're called the 11 essential skills that you should try to incorporate as many of them in a mix-up way in your lessons. No matter what you teach, you can do that. I believe in you. But that requires some smart, common practices. So as a teacher, you're in charge of kind of designing, with not always alone, though. Don't forget collaboration and delegation are very powerful tools in a democratic classroom. So there are smart common practices you might need to implement and design and choose for you based on your style. These will not always be exciting for you or the students, though. They can be painful and dreary and drag on. Sometimes we don't always love dealing with ourselves when we're sick, or when we have to, we had a few too many the night before, have to deal with our hangover in the morning, right? Those are not exciting processes to do, but they're essential. Similarly, these 11 essential skills are not always the most exciting things to deal with or delve into, but they are essential to us becoming more fully human and essential for us to create democratic classrooms. Last but not least, a few pitfalls I just want to leave you with, and I can certainly go further into depth with these in the next video. Being a nice person or teacher does not always mean you're a good person or a good teacher. I'll let that resonate with you. Just think about it. Don't forget also that as being a teacher, we need to respect ourselves as a human first, and that our needs are equally important to every other human's needs in the room. And essentially, we are the only person that can really ensure our own needs are met or not. And that goes for your students. Only they can tell you if their needs are being met or not. And lastly, all worthy work is tough work, as is this job of being a teacher, humanizing the classroom, and bringing democracy to our young ones. Peace.